Namaskar. So yesterday I shared about my learnings and my journey with PSSM and with Patriji sir. Felt like there is something incomplete. I can share more. And this morning I felt like by sharing my teachings, by sharing my experience, my learnings from Patriji sir, actually that is the way I honor him. So I was guided to continue to today. So let us go into this journey, my journey, where I'm visually taking you. But I'll be sharing something which is profound. There are so many, and there are some which means to me, but there are some which I can share. So just go with the flow. Whatever I feel is appropriate, I'll share. Nice memories. The first day I met him was September 10, 2008. So I met him, I was asking questions after questions. And I learned quite a bit in that. So some of the few things are, the first question I asked him was, why did I come to you? What greatness you have? You tell me, I want to listen from you. So he said, your intent brought you here. We both are of the same frequency. So frequency attracts frequency. That was my very first question. And the very first question I asked Patriji sir was that, why did I come and meet you? Because in my entire life, I never met anybody. I never went to any gurus, or I never went to any well-known personalities. I never went to anybody to meet. So he is the first person I went. So he said, your intent brought you here. Your frequency matches my frequency. So we both met. Then I asked him, so is everything predestined? Is our meeting on this day, on this time, is also predestined? He said, yes, absolutely yes. We are meant to meet. And then I kept on asking other questions. Tell me about success and failure. Because I met Patriji sir in September 2008, but I started my intense meditation in July. So July, August, September, for about 2.5 months, I was doing very intense meditation. So based on my experiences in meditation, I was testing him. And the people around me, they were thinking that I was a failure because instead of going to job, I was focusing full time on meditation, doing 8 hours, 10 hours per day. So everybody thought I'm a failure. But for me, I'm the most successful person because I started discovering myself. So what people call it as a failure is not a failure for me. It's success. And when I see people with a lot of money, name and fame, I see them as a failure because they don't know themselves. Zero knowledge about themselves. They are blind. So I see they are a failure. So then I asked Patriji sir, what is this failure? Give me the definition of failure and success. What is failure and success for you? You tell me your definition. Then he said, success is pregnant with materialistic gains. If you are successful, then you will get a lot of material gains. It is pregnant. By default, every success brings you a lot of materialistic gains. But failure is pregnant with spiritual gains. Every time a person goes through a failure, the spiritual quest is pregnant inside because he starts questioning why it happened to me, why. So that's a spiritual gain. So I was like, wow, okay, good. Nice, makes sense. So then went on and on and on and on with many, many questions. And finally, some of the important questions, I spent half a day. Then I said, I'm very happy today to meet you, and this is one of my most happiest days because I was doing Sajjana Sangatya, continuous Sajjana Sangatya, one-on-one question and answers for about 4 or 5 hours. So I said, this day I'm very happy, but I want to be happy every single moment like this. So what should I do? But then you said you have to do 3 things. First, every day you meditate. Then every day you read books. And every day you do Sajjana Sangatya. If you do these 3 things every day, then you will be happy ever after. Your life will be happy. So, okay, great. I will experiment. So I have catch hold of that, of doing meditation every day and reading books every day and Sajjana Sangatya. Sajjana Sangatya, in those days in Australia, there were not many people who were meditating. And I don't know much people in India, the PSSM and all those things, I don't know. So yes, Swadhyaya and meditation I was doing. But instead of Sajjana Sangatya, I used to listen to a lot of other masters. I used to listen to Osho. And in those days, there used to be a radio station. And the radio station, there were some pyramid masters, they were relaying Patriji's audios in the radio, internet radio. So I was listening to that. It was in Telugu language. There was very few in English. It was in Telugu. So I used to listen to that. So it started with a bang. My experience with him was started with a bang. And I read somewhere that a real truth seeker truth seeker always test the master. He will never blindly accept anybody as a master. He will always test the master. See, normally the teachers will test the student, right? Normally the gurus will test the disciple whether he is ready for enlightenment. But a real truth seeker will test the guru whether the guru is eligible to be a guru. So in this lifetime, the very first experience was started with a bang, like, let me test you, and he is like, okay, let me test how you are. So we both were testing each other. And after 4 or 5 hours, I said, okay, now my questions are finished. Do you have any questions to ask me? Or you have anything to tell? Now it's your turn, you ask. Then he looked at me, smiled at me, and he said, I'm happy you have come to the right place. I'm very happy you have come to the right place. So from there, that was the beginning of our journey between me and Patriji sir. So from that day onwards, it was a very beautiful friendship, senior-junior relationship. Towards the end of the day, I almost spent the whole day with him, from morning till evening, the whole day. So towards the end of the day, I was going back home. So I told him that I'm indebted to you because listening to you, listening to your audios, I benefited a lot. Sorry, this was not the first visit. The second time he came to Australia, he gave some materials, book materials, and then he went to New Zealand. So he taught me the flute and he gifted me the flute. It was a bit interesting thing because he was teaching me how to play the notes, the musical notes in the flute, and he asked me to practice it. So he gave the flute and asked me to practice it. And I was like, are you giving it as a gift? He was like, wow, you look like a Khatarnak fellow. No, you wanted my flute only as my gift. No, I am giving you just to practice. I'm going to New Zealand for a week and I'll come back. So you practice for a week and then you have to give it back to me. Say, okay, then will you give back? Sure, you will give back? Say, of course I'll give back. So then say, okay, fine. So then he gave the flute and said, okay, practice. So in that 7 days, a lot of material, whatever he brought from India, his books and teachings and pamphlets. So I was reading all those things and I was practicing the flute also for the first 7 days. And then, so again, he came back from New Zealand because he was staying in another person's house, one of the masters in Melbourne. So he was staying in their house. So I went after a week to him, and then he looked at me while entering. I said, "Yes, come, come. I'm waiting for you." I was thinking whether you will run away with my flute or you will come back. He said, "No, sir, I'm here." So then I gave the flute to him. Then he received like this in both hands. Okay, he received. And then said, "Now I want to gift you. You take it." He gave back. And he said, "This is my gift for you. Take it." It was like a bit very heartful moment that, I feel that was the connection when he gave the flute. That was the connection with me, which pulled all along with him in this lifetime. Because somewhere he knew that our journey is going to be a very interesting journey. And after he left, he gave the flute and he left to India. Whenever I'm going through any kind of doubts, because those were my spiritual journey, beginning days of my spiritual journey, whenever I had any doubts or whenever I have any ups and downs, then I always look at the flute and then I remember, oh, that day I was very happy. So all I should do is meditate, read books, then my life will be happy. So again, immediately I'll start meditating, I'll read books, then again I come up with my energies. So that flute was there. Even now I have kept that flute very carefully. So that flute was there, like the energy, Patrisa's energy was there with me all the time in my intense 2.5 years, because since 2008, I met him 2009. After I met Patrisa, my journey became more intense. I started becoming more sincere, and the intensity and the search, the seeking and the seriousness was 10 times amplified. So all those intense journey I could able to go through is because that one day I had the happiest day in my life I had with him, where all my spiritual the answers were coming from him. So whenever I look at the flute, I feel, yes, I am going to get enlightened. There is no doubt about it. And I used to play the flute whenever I feel low. I used to play the flute and I instantly get the boost. So he like how to describe. Somewhere he knew that flute is going to inspire me. So that's why he gifted me, I guess. And after receiving the flute, before I left him, this is something very important. After I received the flute, I was saying bye-bye to him. Then I told him, I'm very indebted to you. I'm very indebted to you because from you I learned a lot of things and you inspired me a lot. So I'm indebted to you because I learned a lot of concepts from you. Then he looked at me and he said, the word indebted is a very heavy word to use. Then I said, no, sir, I'm really indebted because I learned a lot. And he said, you remember, whatever you learned is because of your efforts. Whatever you learned is because of your efforts. Even if you feel that you are indebted, the universal laws will wipe away, because the truth is nobody can be indebted to nobody. What you deserve, you get it. If you don't deserve, you will never get it in the first place. But whatever you have got, you have deserved it. That's why you got. So you might feel indebted, even though if it is true, the universal laws will wipe away. So you are never indebted to me. So it's like, okay, that was a great eye-opener for me. Patriji telling me, you are never indebted to me nor anybody. That was a great moment in my life because I come from a joint family, and my elder uncle supported my education, my foreign education. But later on, I realized that whatever he was doing within our joint family system was not right. He was not doing the fair things. So I went and questioned him, like, you are not doing right with your brothers. You cannot do this. It is not fair. So he created a guilt consciousness within me. He spoke certain words. He said, I am the one who helped you to study, and I am the one who gave you this education. And you got the education from my help, and you are giving me a gyan to me. You have grown so big that you are finding fault with me. So those words were really affecting me. It was affecting me because yes, I'm indebted, because I was feeling like I was indebted to him because he helped my education. But at the same time, I cannot say yes to everything, whatever he says, because sometimes he says wrong, I have to say wrong. So that guilt consciousness was within me. When Patriji sir says, you can never be indebted to anybody, and the universal laws will wipe off. What you deserve, you get it. So those words made my heart felt so light, and I said, I'm not indebted to anybody. I'm a free being. So that was a very powerful moment for me, because we sometimes, especially from Indian families, joint families, a lot of emotional blackmails will happen. And it is very important to understand this truth, that we are never indebted to anybody. Come what may, whatever might be the situation, what we deserve, we get it. And even it appears like we are indebted, the universal laws will wipe it away. What is the universal laws? Law of karma. What you do comes back to you. You got something, that means you deserve it in the first place. So if somebody makes you feel, I have done to you this, I know, itna karcha kiya, itna madad kiya aapke liye, so I helped you so much. Sometimes you feel very indebted. So yeah, that's the moment you tell yourself, I got it, you spent on me because I deserve it. It's not because of you, it's because of me I got it. So that feeling of indebtedness is very heavy in the heart. You should never have that feeling indebted. But most of the time, the parents, or sometimes the husband, sometimes the wife, they always speak each other that, I have did so much to you, and because of me, you have got so many things, and this and that, blah, blah, blah. So actually, if you just, this one word is giving you so much freedom that you say, hell with you. I got it because I deserved it. Yes, you have spent money. You have spent money because I deserved it, not because you are great. So that is a very enlightening statement. See, also, I want to tell you another incident in my life. When I was a very small kid, my mother used to, because I was doing some naughty things, or I was not doing good in education, I was a little bit take it easy when it comes to homeworks and other things. So she used to compare me with the children on the street, the dobi wala ka children who don't go to education, who don't go to schools, and poor children. So my mother used to say, do you know the difference between you and those children on the street? The only difference is you got educated parents, well-to-do parents who are able to send you to the school, and those children, they didn't have that kind of parents. That's the only difference between you two. And we are making our efforts to give you education. We are sending you to the school, so you have to do your best. You have to study well and get first rank in the class. So this is how my mother said once, and I used to feel so bad. Is my worth? That's all. Like, you are comparing me with the street children, and you are saying that my life is today like this because you are educated and you are nice parents, and that's why. So I felt so bad and so indebted. Oh, because of my parents only my life is like this, or else I would have been a street child. So I was feeling so indebted. And that feeling was also a very heavy feeling. And after I listened to this statement, I immediately called my mother. I said, you know what? I got these parents because I deserve it. It's not because you did a favor to me. Actually, I did a favor to be born to you as a son. And she was like, oh, I forgot what I said. It was many, many years ago when I was a small child. I said, I totally forgot what I said. Did you got hurt? I said, so, okay, take it back. So she was also very gentle with me. sometimes the parents speak something, they compare the children with others, and it becomes a very heavy burden. And with that heavy burden, what happens? You cannot be yourself. You always want to please others. You always want to make sure others are happy because of you. So once for all, I became free from all those burden, and so that was a great freedom, actually, thanks to Patri sir. If those words haven't come from his mouth, it would have been a very difficult life for me. And on a lighter note, coming back to this flute, many years later, after 2-3 years, when I went to India and met some pyramid masters and went to Pyramid Valley. So when I shared that, Patri sir gave me the flute and he taught me music, everybody was surprised and stunned. The senior masters, what? Patri sir gave you flute? I said, yeah, what a big deal. They say, he never allows anybody to even touch the flute. If somebody touches his flutes, he will bash them left and right. He will kick them and throw them out. He will never ever let anybody touch the flute. And he has gifted you his own flute? Wow, there should be something. You are something great. Like, कुछ greatness नहीं है, वो मुझे trap किया. Flute देके पूरा spiritual journey में he has, that I call it as a trap, but it is not a trap. So it was on a lighter note, I came to know at a much later stage, I came to know that his flute was very, very precious to him, and he never let anybody touch his flute. So like this, there are many of his, like, when we have this one-to-one discussion with him, there are many times his words have enlightened me and liberated me. So I will share a few of those as we go forward. Once I was like, this was many years later. I also started teaching meditation, and I started understanding how the PSSM works. And it's all decentralized. PSSM is a decentralized organization. Every village, every town has their own society, has their own pyramid building, and everybody's a master for themselves. So, itna politics hota hai. I mean, just to manage a family, it's not so easy, but to manage thousands and thousands of people, and everybody is competing for name and fame, everybody is competing for attention. Itna politics hota hai. And everybody likes Patri sir, and everybody listens to Patri sir. So then I used to, because I also come from a little bit of my management in my master degree, so then I say, okay, I just want to ask him, he's having a secret, maybe I should ask him. So one day, it was, I think, in the year 2014 or maybe 2014-13. So we both were in the Botanic Gardens in Singapore. I organized a program for him. See, by the time I also started teaching, I also started traveling around the world. But wherever I go, I teach. First, I prepare the ground. I make sure there are some students. And then I invite Patri sir to come to that country. So we were doing a program in Singapore Botanic Gardens, and the program was about to start another. We still have 45 minutes left because we came early to the venue. So he said, okay, chalo garden mein ek walk karte hain. So there was a pura team there looking. I said, no, you come. So we both were walking in the garden, slowly walking, touching the feet, touching the grass. And then after a while said, can we sit there on the lawn? I said, okay, yes, sir, let us sit. So he was sitting in the lawn, and he was looking at me, and I was looking at him. I said, okay, this is the best chance to ask him. He was in a very nice, good mood. So it's full of nature. So let me ask this question. So I said, sir, I want to ask you a question. And he said, go ahead. See, in a company, in a companies or in any factories, the boss gives the instructions and the employees will listen because they're getting the salary, money, they're giving the money, and so that they listen to the instructions. But you don't have any money, you don't have a single penny with you, and you manage so many trusts, Hyderabad Trust, Bangalore Trust, and this, so whatnot. There are hundreds and hundreds of trusts in Andhra, small towns and villages. And itna politics hota hai isme. And you manage all those things at so much ease, and everybody listens to you. and you manage it so well. I want to be like you. I want to be like you. I want to be a good manager where everybody listens to me. So what is the secret? Aaj aap batana padega. Then he looked at me and I said, you really want to know? Yes, sir, I really want to know. You have to tell me. You have to tell me what is the secret. What secret is it? I said, okay, I'll tell you today. So he said, with anybody I meet, any person I meet, I see only the beauty in them. I will not see any negativity. That negativity doesn't appear in my eyes. Only the beauty appears in my eyes. And when I recognize that beauty, and when I see that beauty, that person becomes very happy because I have recognized his beauty. See, we all have some positive, some negative. Everybody has some positive, negative. But I always see the beauty. From a grass blade to a highly enlightened person, from a living thing to a non-living thing, in anything and everything, I see only the beauty. So when I see the beauty, that person comes into my fold, and he wants to follow me. He wants to listen to me because I have recognized his beauty. So that is my secret. And see, I'm going through certain incidents in my life where I feel it is very important to share, and I'm sharing this. So then many years later, again, we were in Bosnia. I think it was in the year 2017. We organized an international conference, and there were participants from more than 40 countries. So about 130 participants from more than 45 countries, because it's a conference. Many spiritual masters were there. I was one of the speakers, Patriji was one of the speakers, and many other Western speakers were there. Mostly Europe or America. So in that public event, the Patriji ka style, hamesha vegetarian ka bara mein daarte. So his words, he started scolding the people there. And Europeans, they don't take it lightly. So they started going away out of the place of the conference. They started leaving the room, and not many people were showing interest as he was speaking. Some people started looking at the mobiles, and as if nobody was interested. So I felt like a little bad, how come he's such an enlightened master, but very many people are not acknowledging, because it was an international conference. Not most of them don't know who Patriji was. So then after his session, it is my session. There was a 10 minutes break, and then it is my session. And my session, they advertised as crystal meditation. So crystal meditation, most of the Westerners, Europeans, Americans, they are very fascinated with the crystal. So the hall was full, the arena was full. Everybody was so eager to see the crystal and so eager to listen what I'm going to say. And yes, I was giving them how to do anapanasati meditation, how to do crystal gazing, and the essence of life, law of karma, blah, blah, blah. 1.5 hours of session. I was speaking continuously. And Patriji was also sitting on the stage. So I was feeling so bad that I'm teaching his teachings while he is in the stage. And I was feeling little bad. When he was teaching the same thing, people were not interested. And I was teaching the same concept in the way the Westerners can understand, because I understand their psyche. So I was speaking in a more friendly terms, in a little more scientific way, in a gentle way. And so everybody appreciated, and it was a huge hit of that particular session. It was a huge hit. And everybody, after the session, everybody started coming on the stage. This was in an open park in Bosnia, it happened. So they made a stage in Bosnia in an open park. So the whole the crowd gathered on the stage, and they were acknowledging me, giving handshake, and said the session was very nice, this and that. And I was watching Patriji was sitting there on the stage, and not much attention was given to him. I felt a little bad. And then after the program, we both were walking. It was winter, cold winter in Bosnia. So we were walking back to our room, and he was very silent. I was also silent. just quietly walking next to each other. And I was like, I don't know what to say. Either he's upset with me, he's angry with me. So I was thinking like that, and then I was walking. And after 20 minutes of walk, 20 minutes pin drop silence. After 20 minutes of walk, suddenly with such a loud voice, he said, "Your session was very good. You did a very good job." I said, "Oh, okay. Thank you, sir." Then I said, "Sir, actually, whatever I spoke is I copied from you. Whatever I spoke is I copied from you. And I was feeling a little bad that you are on the stage and while you are next to me, I'm teaching I copied things from you and I'm teaching that. So I was feeling a little bad about it. Are you angry or are you upset that I copied the things from you? Are you angry or upset with me?" Then immediately he looked at me, he stopped walking and he looked at me and said, "I would have been very angry and upset had you not copied from me." And then he said, "Remember this, good things has always good things has to be copied. So I'm very proud of you." So that was very encouraging for me to, it was on one level, I can feel his love. And on one level, he see how pure and what kind of an inspiration, how a teacher should be. Because yesterday I told you, he taught me how to be a good student and also how to be a good teacher. So he was really a good inspiration to me in that moment, that anything good we have to learn it quickly. We have to copy, in the sense we have to learn anything good from anybody, from any master. We should learn it. And that is the right thing to do. And there is no copyrights for the truth. In a later visit in the same Bosnia only, we were, because we did few conferences in 2-3 years. Then in a subsequent visit, he was observing me, because he always he observes me and he tries to make sure that I'm not stuck in any ego. So whenever there is an international conference, and even in Pyramid Valley where there is global congress used to happen, and I used to take a very active part in that program. And sometimes many people, they praise me, and sometimes I would have got some attention from many people that yes, you did good. So that time Patriji sir will be sitting there. So when I pass by him, then they say, "Hey," everybody says, "Pradeep, down, down, Pradeep, down, down." Everybody say, "Down, down." And everybody will say, "Pradeep, down." I was like not understanding. I have done such a good job. Everybody is praising me. But Patriji sir is saying, "Pradeep, down, down, Pradeep." It's not understanding. First time, no, it was like, why is he saying like that? And he is not saying down, down. He's making everybody to say that. So, mera ego thoda hurt हुआ. But then I pretended that, okay, everything was okay. So I walked away from that place because I couldn't understand what he was saying. Then later on, I realized that, okay, so Patriji sir is doing that to make sure that my spiritual ego is not blown up. So the next time he started saying, everybody say Pradeep down, down. Sir, कोई जरूरत नहीं, मैं खुद ही बोलूंगा Pradeep down, down. So then Patriji sir laughed at me and said, "Okay, that's my boy." So he always made sure that I was not stuck in the ego. And even in one of the events in Bosnia, so I was doing something and I was expecting people to appreciate it and acknowledge it. Then he was coming out of the conference room, and he was walking next to me, because he can pick up the energy, right? I said, "Pradeep, I'll tell you something. We should always do our work and move forward. Don't ask the people how was the program, and don't ask any feedbacks. You should gatam gataha. You should always keep going forward. If you look backwards, then you will not go forward in a greater speed. So never look back and check whether you have done right things or not. You finished gatam. Always move forward. Trust and move forward. Keep moving forward. Then you can do great things." So this advice also, he said. So fundamentally what it means is sometimes we all look for acknowledgements. Sometimes we look for acknowledgement that I have done well. Is it I did justice to my job? So we look for feedbacks and acknowledgements. So he discouraged me. He said, you don't need any feedback. You don't need any acknowledgements. Keep going forward. So in that process, what happens is then you are least bothered about judgments. You are least bothered about criticism. Your focus is only on your work. Then there was another important moment where we both were traveling in car from Hyderabad to another place when I came to India. So we both were traveling in the car from Hyderabad, Kartal Pyramid. We're traveling to a nearby town. So again, he was in a very good mood. And so I wanted to see, by the time I already know my Janma Parampara, I realized my Janma Parampara, that in my past life, my immediate past life, I was a student of Babaji. I was working with Babaji. Then in that previous lifetime, I was working with Master Kutumi. And then in the previous lifetimes, I was with Himalayan yogis. So in different lifetimes, I worked with different masters from different lineage. So I wanted to ask Patriji sir about the lineage, the guru lineage. So I asked him, sir, in my past lives, I was with the Babaji's lineage. I was with Master Kutumi lineage. I was with the Christ consciousness lineage. And now in this lifetime, I'm with you, and PSSM is mostly Buddha's lineage. So in this lifetime, I'm in this Buddha's lineage. So can you share something about this guru lineage? I want to know that different lifetimes I've been with different gurus, and in this lifetime, I'm in the Buddha's lineage with you. So can you say something about it? So then he said, the word guru is outdated. The word guru is outdated. You replace the word guru with expert, then you will understand. You go to a mathematics expert to learn mathematics. You go to a chemistry expert to learn chemistry. Similarly, in each lifetime, you go to a certain expert to learn their expertise. So just replace. Every master has certain expertise. And every lineage has certain expertise. So if you replace the word guru with an expert, then you will understand. So this was also very enlightening, because his emphasis was on the detachment. He spoke the word guru is outdated. It doesn't hold, he said it is outdated. It doesn't hold any significance. Guru lineage ka. So it's just we are learning. Expert. So then what happens? There is no emotional dependency. We go to a teacher, we learn from the teacher, we thank the teacher. There is gratitude. That's it. There is no bondage. So as such, I don't have any bondage in this lifetime because I learned this lesson. But the clarity was crystal clear. And also sometimes, we read many books, and different books says different things. Sometimes, we get confused. Sometimes, some masters, some authors, they say, for example, the soul. This is also one of my questions to him. So when I think we were in Pyramid Valley, we both were reading books. So whenever I go visit him and spend time with him, he'll normally give a book to me. He will be reading a book and he will give a book to me and said, okay, sit, let's read together, and you read a book. So I was reading some book, and then I asked this question, sir, different books, sometimes some concepts, different authors, they write it in a different way. Sometimes it is conflicting information. For example, some authors says the soul enters the mother's womb in the 3rd month. Sometimes the soul enters the mother's womb in the 6th month. Some authors, they say the soul enters only after the baby is born. So alag masters, alag information that I. So then how to interpret and how to deal with this kind of thing? Then Patriji sir said that is the time we should always have a question mark. I said, can you explain, sir? So there are many things which we don't know. Different people share, different authors, they write according to their point of view. But whenever you read something and whenever there is a conflicting information, don't conclude the things. It is very important you don't conclude. If you conclude that you know everything, then you are wrong. So always have a question mark. In the right time, the right things will be revealed to you. So always have a question mark and never conclude the things. So that's one thing which is very important for all the book readers, where you don't conclude. Some things you don't understand, or there is some conflicting thing. Just have a question mark. Don't conclude it and move forward. That's also it's very important. On another occasion, we were in the hub in Egypt. It was the border. It was the border of Saudi Arabia. It was a nice resort with a beach. So we were sitting in front of the beach resort. The waves were almost coming and touching us. So we were discussing a lot of things about. He was sharing about his journey, when he started, how he started with one person. And in those days, he used to find people. He used to give chocolates to the people. I say, you come, I'll teach you meditation, I'll give you chocolates. Or he will see some people who is smoking and say, I will buy you cigarettes. You come and are you interested to learn meditation? I will buy you cigarettes for you. So he used to motivate in the beginning days to find one person to teach meditation. And so like that, he always had the faith, and he always never doubted. He never doubted, and he always had the faith. He always trusted, and he moved forward. And he was giving that example to me, and I was saying that is the way you should go forward also. No matter what comes in your way, you should always have faith and move forward. So he was motivating when he was sharing his examples, how you take one step forward. He was giving his own examples of all the miracles which happened in his life. When he started teaching meditation, there were so many miracles which happened to him. And there were people from nowhere, from Himalayas, they would knock his door in Kurnool and say, oh, we came here to learn meditation. I said, okay, how do you come to know about me? I said, oh, we were in Himalayas, and there was a guru there, an enlightened master there. So we were his disciples, or we met them, we wanted to meet him, and we asked for gyan and initiation. So they said, you go to South India, there is a person in Kurnool, and you go and this is the address, you go and knock his door. He's the right person to teach you. So that was the beginning days of Patriji sir. How does the master sitting in Himalayas know about Patriji sir? So it was like Patriji sir used to say, it was totally baffling. He was sharing all that magical moments where people, randomly people come from nowhere, and they come to him, and they used to ask for some meditation and knowledge. And also he said another incident where another person, a foreigner, he came and he knocked his door, and he said, can I stay with you? I said, why you want to stay with me? I said, I got a guidance from a Himalayan yogi that I should stay with you. Can I stay with you? So who is that Himalayan yogis who is sending all these people? And he has no clue about it. And then he said, okay, you can stay. So then he stayed for some time. And after that, he left. And after a month, so he was staying in his Patriji sir's home. So he was reading 1 or 2 books. And then he went, suddenly he disappeared. Don't know where he went. Then after a month, he came with a full box of books, like hundreds and hundreds of books, different books from different masters. I said, I'm guided because I know you like to read books. So I'm guided to buy the best spiritual books on the planet Earth. And this is my gift to you because you looked after me very well. So he used to share all those magical moments when we are sitting in that alone time, one-to-one. So he was also simultaneously motivating me that this is how the universe works. When you take one step forward, the whole universe supports you in your journey. And so also in that discussion, I was discussing about some things like, I don't get along with some people. I don't like to work with some people on certain projects. So then he said, Pradeep, it is very important you have the right team with you. Always get the best people to work with you. Okay. But sometimes you don't get along with somebody. But don't close the file. Never close the file. Always keep the file suspended. So never conclude that this person is not suitable and this person is not worth. And don't close the file means don't close your channels, your communication channels with that person. If you don't like that person, you suspend the file. But in a future date, you should be open. So that means never have a definite enmity with anybody. Never close a file. Always keep the file open, suspended, so that you can open it back anytime. So the person keeps changing. The same person might change after 1 year, after 2 years, after 5 years, after 10 years. So you should be open. So never close a file. Always keep the file open and suspended. There will be a time in the future where you might need to revisit the same file. So for that reason, you need to always make sure you never close the file. I mean, never conclude about anybody and never close the chapter with anybody. Always keep it open-ended with anybody you work with. This also something is very, very important, because sometimes out of frustration, out of anger, sometimes we conclude the things about somebody. But it is very important we don't conclude anything about anybody. And if you don't like to work with somebody, it's okay. But we should not close the file. We should always suspend it, so that knowing that in the future date, you will be working together again. And in one of my visits to India, so I went to Kartal, Hyderabad. So Patriji sir was going for a rounds in the Kartal ashram. So I was waiting near his room. So then he was coming back. So I heard that he is coming back. So from the room, I came out. I came out to welcome him, to see him and to say hi, because I was coming from overseas. So he saw me from a distance, and there was a group of 50 people who was coming, walking along with him. So he saw me from a distance and he started walking fast, so that he comes faster than the rest of the group. He started walking fast and he came very close to me, and he was started looking into my eye, like, from his forehead was almost touching my forehead. So he was coming this close and looking into my eyes. And I was like, what is this strange behavior? Sometimes Patriji sir will do different kinds of behaviors where you cannot predict what he will do. That is the dynamism he has. He's always dynamic. You can never predict. So that makes you feel alert. In his presence, you always feel alert because he's so dynamic. So he was coming so close and staring into my eyes. And I was like, okay, this is your test. You are a master. Never be scared. Okay, you also stare in his eyes. So I also started staring in his eyes. Then after a few seconds, he said, I want to tell you something. Can I say? Yes, sir, please. What you see through your physical eyes is a Maaya. And he said, what people see through their physical eyes is a Maaya. And what people see through their third eye is a greater Maaya. And these people who are in Maaya, they don't know that they are stuck in a greater Maaya. They think they are great people. Ayorama, like that, he hit the forehead and he walked away. He walked into his room. This was, I think this was around in the 2013 something. And then it was very curious and interesting, but what he said is really an amazing fact. Patriji sir always discourages, in front of the people, in the public, he always says, share your experience. And he will encourage. But when you go closer to him in his private moments, he will scold you only. Kya bakwas baat kar raha hai? So also I heard, this was many years ago, I heard from one of my friends who was there in that incident. One day, Patri sir couldn't attend the meditation program in one of the towns. So he deputed one of the senior masters to go and teach meditation. So this person went, and then he taught meditation, and he came back, and he met Patri sir, and he said, "Sir, today's program is super hit, super successful." I said, "Acha, okay, good, sir. Today's program, even though you are physically not there, so what I did, I said, we will all invite Patri sir astrally, and we will do meditation in the presence. So like that, I instructed everybody to astrally call you, and we all did meditation. Such amazing energy, such beautiful energies we got in the meditation. You are actually there with us, sir. Everybody is so happy." And then while he was speaking, that Patri sir stood up from the bed and big fat on the slab. I say, "You idiot. I was telling, my whole life I was teaching everybody, Appo, deepo, bhava, no dependency on any gurus, no dependency on anybody. My whole life I'm teaching, and you are using my name, and you are inviting me only to misguide the people." And he was, itna mara isko us din. He said, "Never ever do this stupidity, you idiot." Because he said, my whole effort is to have the detachment and be your own master. And you're using my name only, inviting me only, and making the people dependent on me. So this incident was many years ago. Like, in those days, there were not many channelers. Unfortunately, now there are many people who channel. But in those days, he was very strict. He was actually very strict. And even in 2011, he invited me to Vizag Dhyanama Chakram. So I came from Australia, landed in Vizag. So he was sitting there on the stage. He asked me to come, and then we both were sitting on the stage, and he was speaking to me. Okay, how was the journey? Where did you come? What's the news in Australia? And all the updates. And as he was speaking, suddenly there was a old woman who came and fell at his feet. He was looking at me and speaking. Suddenly he kicked that old woman, and the woman fell 10 feet apart on the stage. I was a bit scared sitting next to him. Like, kya baap re, ye football khel raha kya? I mean, an old woman, he was kicking. He suddenly kicked, and then he was scolding, "You useless lady, how many times to tell not to fall at my feet? Don't have any common sense, this, that." He was scolding. And then suddenly he turns at me and says, "Okay, what else?" Suddenly with a smiley face, he looks at me. Then I said, "Okay, what else? What else?" I was like totally frozen. Kya chal raha hai idhar? And it was in a big event, in Vizag. There were about 20,000 people there. And then, see, I was sitting next to him, and I know what is happening. Then suddenly some other masters, they came. I said, "Kya ho raha hai? Patri sir gussa hai, kya ho raha hai?" So other senior masters were asking, "Kya ho raha hai, sir?" Oh, the lady fell at the feet, sir. As he was speaking, there was another person who came and said, "Sir, mujhe bhi ashirwad karo, mujhe bhi kick chahiye." Then he was like so fed up, and he looked at me. "Do you see? What do I do with these idiots? What do I do with these people? Now, do you understand me? Do you understand what I'm going through in India?" So then I was like looking at him. I was a bit shocked. I was totally frozen. I was looking at him. Then he scolded that person also. "How many times to tell you? My whole life I'm telling not to fall at my feet, not to fall at my feet." Kya dimag mein? He was scolding. And that person was, "Thank you, Swamiji, your Ashirwad." Like that, he smiled. And then another person coming and falling at the feet. So then he was so pissed off. And he said, "Okay, put a stool in front of me. Now, these people, they are not going to listen. So I will keep my foot on the stool. I will make it available. Everybody, let every idiot, every stupid come and fall at my feet." The moment he said it, a big queue happened. More than 1,000 people were coming and touching his feet. And I was sitting next to him and I was like, he was looking at me. Dekha? Is too pretty to go Dekha? I said, yes, sir. I know you are going through a lot of trouble. This is what it is. Yesterday I was telling you, right? So he announced my past life on the stage and he asked me, who asked you to become a guru? Face the consequences. So he was trying to show this is what happens in India. If you take a guru figure, these are the things you have to go through. Okay. So it is very important. See, Patriji sir teaching is truth, straight to the truth, that you are your own guru. You are no less than anybody. Okay. So don't fall at anybody's feet. Don't go behind channeling and don't invite any masters. Don't be dependent on anybody. And don't get into illusions of your third eye experiences. Then in a later occasion, he told, the two eyes is a Maaya. The third eye is also a Maaya. The fourth eye, the wisdom eye, that is the true wisdom. That fourth eye gives you the clarity. To have that fourth eye, you need to come out of the third eye. It is very important you close your third eye. Everybody goes through the third eye, but don't get into the Maaya. Don't get stuck into the Maaya. Close that third eye. Then the wisdom will happen from within you. The intuition will start working. That will give you the clarity. So he was so clear in his teachings. But it is unfortunate people are still stuck in Maya and illusion. So now, since the master is not in the physical body to kick anybody, to correct anybody, so it is important you have to help yourself. Appo, deepo, bhava. Only you can help yourself. And also he gave another concept to me. Appo, gotho, bhava. Appo, gotho in Telugu, gothi means spit. So he said, if only you can help yourself, and also the equally true statement is, only you can fall in your own grave. Only you can fall in your own dump. Only you can fall in your own pit. Nobody can push you. You will only fall on your own. That is also equally true. So normally you hear him teach Appo, deepo, bhava, but he told me Appo, gotho, bhava is also equally true. So this is very important. If at all we are in some illusion, nobody is responsible. Only we are responsible. If we feel that our life is in a mess, only we are responsible for that because we have created that mess. We have dig our own grave. So this Appo, gotho, bhava came last year when you guys came for the retreat, because Patriji sir hamesha मुझे motivate करते हैं pyramid valley आओ मेरे साथ रहो, because that time Patriji sir was taking a lot of rest and I was traveling. See, our relationship, myself and Patriji sir, was I tried to go far away from him and he tried to capture me. So it was a bit peculiar because I know he taught Appo, deepo, bhava, you do your own meditation, and what is the need to go to a guru? So I always avoided. But there was also equally pull that I should go and visit him once in a while and just say hi, bye, and come. So I was trying to travel around India, and he was staying there in Pyramid Valley, and I was doing online sessions. He was coming, come to Pyramid Valley, stay with me. I know if I go there, he will make me stay there and get locked. And I want to have my own freedom. Sometimes Patriji sir's energy is so vibrant. If you are with him, then you should be alert all the time. You should be all the time alert. And once I invited him to Singapore to say, sir, come and stay with me for a few days. So then I said, nobody, only you. So I went to India and I brought him, and he stayed here for 4 days alone, no secretaries, nothing. So it was myself, Patriji sir, and Navneet, we three were there just to have some relaxed time. And also we just arranged a 1 hour session in Singapore. The rest of the time is for rest. So in that 3 days, He made me go round and round and round. I wanted to give him rest, but he didn't give me rest for even 1 hour. He was making me go round. So before he came to Singapore, I planned all because I know he likes to cook and he likes vegetables. So I went all the shopping and I made sure there is sufficient vegetables morning, afternoon, dinner, 2 times. So I purchased some 10, 15 vegetables and stocked up in the fridge so that, there is no need to go to the market when he's there. So as soon as he came and he said, okay, what's there what vegetables are there? Sir, some, sir, a lot of things are there. Okay, let me see. You went to the fridge, open. Oh, okay, you have this, you have this, you have this, you have this. Okay, chalo, let's start cooking. He cooked all the vegetables in one day. All the vegetables he cooked, he started go on keeping on cooking. Okay, eat this. This is nice. So within, I think 1 day, morning, afternoon, dinner, 3 meals, mein sab vegetables khatam ho gaya. And he was like, oh, this will be very tasty. So he was cooking and he was feeding us. He was cooking and he was feeding us. And then the next day, no more vegetables. I was like, sir, अब पूरा खत्म किया मैंने, 1 हफ्ते के लिए प्लान किया, अब 1 दिन में खत्म किया, अभी हम no, yes, you have to go. So again, I have to go to the market. I buy. Again, he finishes off. Again, I have to go. So it was very interesting because I thought that trip will be very relaxing. I can normally whenever I meet Patri sir, it's mostly in the resorts in the overseas countries. So it was a very casual and very relaxed. I thought I will have that kind of an atmosphere. But in that 4 days, he made me go round and round. And also he was doing book corrections. And he said, okay, I need this printout. I need that printout. So, he is such a dynamic person where in that 3-4 days, I saw literally how much hard work he does. From morning till night, he was constantly, either he was correcting the book, he didn't watch any TVs or movies. He was either correcting the books, or he was reading the books, or he was in cooking. One meal after another meal, one dish after. Okay, this vegetable can be cooked this way also. I'll show you. Do you know that? Okay. So then he said, I don't know how to cook sambar, but other things I will cook. Sir, I know, sir, how to cook. Really? Can you cook sambar? I cooked sambar in UK. It was a big flop. So I don't want to cook again. No, sir, I will cook for you. Really? Okay, I will see. So then I cooked the sambar. He was coming and watching. What? You put tomatoes before? Sir, this is the way I cook. You please give me some space. So I cooked the sambar and then said, wow, sambar is tasty. What powder you used? This is MTR. See, that's why it got flopped in UK. The UK people are stupid people. They don't know how to bring a nice sambar powder. So or else I would have got hit there only. So now I know how to cook. So then the next time once he started cooking sambar also. So it was more fun, With him, he's such a dynamic person where there is a lot of fun, a lot of energy and a lot of learning and a lot of alertness, awareness. Because I thought I have done all the marketing and all the shopping is done, I can relax. So he can read my mind. Oh, you thought that way? I will shift. I will turn the tables around. So we always had this kind of a playful moment, which is very, very memorable. And if I recollect Patri sir, it is all these beautiful memories which cherishes me. And I told you about the first question which I asked him. I'll tell you about the last question I asked in this lifetime. It was in Pyramid Valley. Right. So the first visit, he was taking rest. I know that he's healthy. If he take rest, he will be all right. So after that, there was the second visit. I came back to Singapore and then again I went to India. So then he was there. So the second visit, he was very weak. So I saw him, he was really weak. And by the time there were different things going around. And so I went to sir and I said, sir, you are very tired, you take rest. Because that's the day I also landed in Pyramid Valley. So he came 2 hours later to Pyramid Valley. So I was there welcoming him in his pagoda. So the first day I said, sir, you look very tired, so you take rest. So the next day, after 2 days, I went and so he was sitting alone. So then I went and I was looking into his eyes. Then I said, sir, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from your words. What's happening to you? So he just kept quiet for a few seconds, and then he said, even his words were not clear. So he was trying to speak. He said, I'm going through a period of silence. I'm going through a period of silence. That's all I know. So then I said, okay, do you feel bad that you have to stay in one place? Because he likes to travel. He cannot stay in one place. Do you feel bad that you cannot travel and you are sitting in one place? Do you feel bad? How you feel? He said, I'm not sad. I'm not sad sitting in one place because I'm resting. I'm resting and I'm happily resting. I'm not sad. I'm sitting in one place. But I'm very happy the work is going on. I'm very happy the teachings are going on. Like you, like other masters, you're all teaching. So I'm happy that you have all started teaching and I don't need to do anything. So I'm very happy about it. Because that was the time I was doing a lot of online programs, 21 days ka sequence. Tamil mein, Hindi mein, kuch alag languages mein I was doing. So he used to watch that program from his YouTube channel. So he said, I'm so happy that this work is going on like you and other masters are teaching. I'm very happy for that. But I'm not sad because I'm resting. So this was my last conversation in this lifetime. And after that, I didn't ask any questions because I know that he's going through something. And I respect his free will. I was not concerned about it or anything because I know he's an avatar. He's enlightened master. I know. So there are many things we don't understand about him. So it's better not to analyze the things and to just accept. Right. And I stayed in Pyramid Valley and I was leaving Pyramid Valley, coming back to Singapore. I was leaving. It was before Buddha Purnima. Two days before Buddha Purnima. Normally, because I told you, right, the incident which happened to me in the Chakram, where he made me popular with the crystal and with the past life. So from that moment onwards, I avoid all the gatherings. All the Dhyana Chakrams, I skip. Any gathering, anybody invite in India, I avoid. So Buddha Purnima also, I know many people are coming. So I wanted to avoid that and I wanted to leave. So I was there for 3 months with him. Like I was there in Pyramid Valley for 3 months and he was also there. And we used to go sit some time, play chess. And most of the time we play chess and just give some company to him. And so I told him, sir, I'm leaving and my car is waiting outside. So I'm about to leave, all packed. My car is waiting outside. He said, okay, sir, I'm leaving now. It's time for me to leave. And I have to go to Singapore and I have to go to Bali, Indonesia, Malaysia. I have some work. I'll go and I'll come back. So then normally whenever I say, okay, I'm going, bye-bye, he always says bye. When somebody is going and the car is waiting, he always says bye-bye. But to my surprise, he heard me. He was looking deep into my eyes and he didn't say bye. He said, come play chess with me. Like a bit strange because Patriji sir never when you are leaving and when your car is waiting outside, he never does that. So he said, okay, sit, let's play a game. It's like, play a game? I was a bit surprised. Play a game? I didn't understand. I said, okay, chalo, fine. Let's play. So played one game, went on for 1 hour. Okay, sir, I'll leave one more game. So again, one more game. So went on for 4 hours. For 4 hours, I was sitting with him and playing, and he's not leaving. And then said, 3 games ho gaya. Normally, when me and Patriji sir play, it is best of 3, always. So out of the 3, who wins the most is the winner. Best of 3 or best of 5, something like that. So sir, 3 games ho gaya. So now we know we have finished the game. No, one more game. So then with great heart, I said, no, sir, it is getting dark. It is really getting dark. I need to go to Tamil Nadu ashram. I told them that I'm visiting them. So I need to go. So please allow me to go. Then he said, okay, acha baba, go, bye-bye. So that was the last I saw in this lifetime. He was a real good friend. So there were actually many more beautiful moments, which I can keep on sharing. But it is very important to understand. It's really very important to understand that if you want enlightenment, then all the tools are in front of you, all the teachings are in front of you. Meditation, reading books, Sajjana Sangatya, and also teaching meditation. What you know, you teach. The more you teach, the more you learn. What I learned in my meditation journey is very little, but what I learned in my teaching journey is greater, much more, 10 times greater. I learned while I was teaching. Because the more you teach, the more you learn. You perfect whatever you learned, you will perfect it only when you teach it. So it is very important to be sincere. It's very important to be sincere and serious. Without sincerity, nothing can be achieved. As a truth seeker, as an enlightenment seeker, it is very important that we take the teachings of this PSSM. In other words, the core teachings of Patriji. What Patriji represents? Patriji is equal to anapanasati meditation, reading books, Sajjana Sangatya, teaching, doing service in whatever way we can do service to others. And finally, the fifth point, come out of all the illusions. Always seek the truth. So if you can remember, Patriji famous 5-finger concepts, all the time he uses 5 fingers. So मुझे 5-finger अभी आया, dynamically अभी आया. Meditation, reading books, Sajjana Sangatya. Third is Sajjana Sangatya. Fourth is teaching meditation. And the fifth is make sure you are never stuck in illusion. Always your goal is enlightenment. So if you can remember these 5 things, then you are never separate from Patriji.
सांस के हो जावे ज्ञानी बन जावे ज्ञानी बन जावे.
Here you are the least developed soul, eating, sleeping, talking, least developed soul. That also eating all rotten things. Killing and eating. What kind of a rotten human being you are? But you have to climb. From here to here, from here to here, from here to here. This place is the place of meditation. This place is the place of third eye vision. And this place is the place of service. Teaching. Teaching is the service.
Varangalai Peralame Yanam Seyalame Varangalai Peralame.
You are always with him. You become him. Actually, Patri sir is just a name in the physical body, but we're all consciousness. We don't have any identity. When we go to higher worlds, there is no identity. We are all pure energy. So it is important. If you really respect Patri sir, then please follow these 5 things. Thank you very much. And we'll meet you again on some other occasion. Namaskar.